Thank you for taking the time to familiarize yourself with McKinney-Vento. This information is crucial in identifying and supporting students and families who are living in a housing transition crisis or an unsheltered situation. First of all, what exactly is McKinney-Vento? The McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act guarantees an equitable education for homeless children and youth. In other words, all students who qualify as homeless under the McKinney-Vento legislation must receive all educational services comparable to their peers. In addition, they have the right to immediate school enrollment, even when records are not present, the right to remain in their school of origin, if in the student's best interest, the right to receive equitable transportation to and from the school of origin, and the right to receive support for academic success. These services include, but are not limited to, free breakfast and lunch, school materials, and waived educational and school activity related fees. McKinney-Vento defines homelessness a little differently than how we typically think of homelessness. A family or student, including migratory, are considered homeless if they are living in one of the following situations: doubled up with other people due to loss of housing or economic hardship. This could be living with friends or family members, but the key concept is that the living situation is based on economic hardship, not just a living preference. Living in a car, a park, an abandoned building, or a bus or train station. Living in a motel or campground due to lack of an alternative adequate accommodation, or in housing that is not suitable for living, such as having no water or heat or electricity. And of course, living in an emergency temporary shelter. I know we probably think that students living like this are very rare in this district, but in reality, we have families and students living in each one of these situations. We also have a unique McKinney-Vento category called unaccompanied youth. These are students who are residing outside the physical custody of a parent or legal guardian. These types of situations are typically not related to economic hardship, but usually occur due to domestic issues in the home environment. These students might be couch surfing, living in their car, in a shelter, or on the street. There are specific resources in place for students who find themselves in this situation. For example, if the student is nearing graduation and considering college, they can complete a FAFSA without parents' tax information or signature. And there are state colleges that will waive application fees for unaccompanied youth, or even cover much of the cost of attending college. So, who is responsible for our McKinney-Vento students? The short answer is everyone. Any person who works in a school district and has any kind of interaction with students has a level of responsibility in helping to identify and support these students. At the district level, the McKinney-Vento liaison needs to make sure to raise awareness so that all staff know of McKinney-Vento and their role in support of McKinney-Vento. They also conduct outreach with the local community to gain access to resources and information that can help McKinney-Vento families. They have to make sure that the district is in compliance with the federal requirements in supporting McKinney-Vento. School administration has to be familiar with the legislation, know student rights, and support their counselors and school staff in raising awareness and supporting those who are working with these families and students. And because teachers interact the most with students and their families, they need to be aware of signs of homelessness and the steps to take if they suspect a family may be homeless, such as communicating with your school McKinney-Vento representative if they believe a family or student may be in this situation. Understand that if a family is identified as McKinney-Vento, the family may not be responsible for purchasing school supplies or paying for certain educational fees. Also, understand that a McKinney-Vento student may be experiencing a unique and difficult living situation, something to keep in mind when it comes to homework, students' hygiene, behavior, etc. Finally, each school needs to designate someone as the school's McKinney-Vento representative. Usually, this is the school counselor, social worker, family engagement liaison, or someone who can check in with and support both teachers and families. So, what do you do if you suspect a family or student is homeless? 1. Have the family complete the McKinney-Vento Student Residency Questionnaire, which you can find on the McKinney-Vento webpage, d49.org/MV. 2. Please offer assistance to the family or student in completing the application. The more thoroughly the application is completed, the quicker the application is processed. And 3, of course, if you have questions or you need support, please reach out to the McKinney-Vento office by emailing mb@d49.org or by calling the number on the slide. What happens once a family is identified as McKinney-Vento? The McKinney-Vento office will notify the student or family and provide them with a letter of approval. They will also notify nutrition services, registration, transportation, and school counselors, liaisons, and administration. And of course, ongoing check-ins are conducted to ensure that we are meeting the needs of our McKinney-Vento families and offering support wherever possible. Check out this video and see the value of education in overcoming homelessness.
I walked myself up those hills as a kid. And the one person that noticed that became my forever teacher, forever godmother in first grade.
If you are working in this field and you are out there daily serving students like myself, I want to say that your efforts are so incredibly valued and so incredibly important.
The younger self in me that didn't think that I was able of accomplishing anything is truly proud.
My school counselor was someone that really helped me. She helped me understand that I fit the definition of homelessness.
Thank you to all the people out there who are giving their everything to support kids like me.
I've been not in school, and every single time I felt like that was the one thing I needed.
I knew at the end of the day I would have to go back home or go back to the van or go back to sleeping on the couch. That was what made it hard. I wanted to stay there all day if I could.
I did find school to be like my safe place, my home. It was safe. There was lots of people there that cared about me. I just felt safe there.
When I was able to get to school, it finally felt like, in some ways, things were more even, and I was able to show up and be normal, because it was the first time in my life where I felt like I was considered a human being.
Teachers, people in education, people who are recognizing these realities, because oftentimes there are so many of us who fall through the cracks.
She taught me things such as how to cook certain meals and how to wash clothes, and she was actually the person that introduced me to the university that I currently attend.
I often made the wrong decision that in some cases prolonged my homelessness because I did not know what else to do.
If someone had been able to say, hey, you're staying with people who aren't your family, that qualifies you as experiencing homelessness, that would have been huge.
It was educators and education that really ultimately saved me.
Education to me is the way that I can help people. My goal has always been to write books. That's been my passion ever since I was a kid. And books have always kind of been like a safe place for me to help me during hard times.
If we could describe it in words, which is really hard for a lot of us to do, you're our saviors. You are what keep us going.
They've given me so much stability that I've been so incredibly grateful for, and have allowed me to focus all of my efforts on my education.
When I knew that there was somebody that cared and that would help me get to every step of the way, I felt empowered.
I do plan to try to get my master's in social work so I could be a social worker.
Thank you for everything you guys continue to do.
It's noticed and it's impactful, and you truly are changing lives.